Okay, so I am going to make this next part in Avidemux and Audacity. So I drag the first part in, I drag the second part in. They stack together because they're the same resolution and frame rate. And I'm just going to the very first screen where Zelda appears. So we go there, we set the B marker, and that's everything to the left of it is selected, and delete. Now we had a spot in the middle where we saved after exiting the level and started over again. So that is what we are going to have to cut out. We go through here, and I am going to put marker A right here, and then we will skip ahead. This is the 2-second skip. And eventually, there we go. And we find the next spot. We place marker B, delete. And now it can finish the rest of the way through. We don't have to skip this way, but we'll get to here. And I say thanks for watching and pause it, and then after a couple of seconds, which you can see on the bottom right of the screen here, I stop it. I set marker A, so everything to the right of it, and delete. So here is the full video from start to finish. I'm going to select an audio output that's MP3. I'm going to select the highest bit rate possible because these are just going to be temporary files. I am going to disable 2 of these. Track 0 was me recording myself plus the video game. Track 1 was just the video game, so I'm going to save that track. And since this is 27 minutes, it takes a little while to get through. So yeah, the MP3 is the audio codec. The other common one is FLAC, but there are other types too. So now we've got track number 2, that is just me. Commentary only or whatever. So here are the 2 MP3s. I should have saved them to a better folder than that, but doesn't really matter. And looking at it, I just want to _2, and this one should be _3. Track 1 is the combination of the 2. So I'm just gonna move these to the working folder so it's all in one place. And I am bringing in my own audio. We're going to take a quick look at it to see if there is anything, any huge peaks to worry about. So I am zooming in on the magnitude scale. I can stretch this out to make it easier, and here I can zoom in on the time scale. So each of these is a different syllable. We'll take a look at this. That is a very big peak. So I am just going to take that bit of it there, go to amplify, -1. And you can see the thing drop, the bottom no longer goes off the edge. So really the big ones for this are usually the first thing you say, because I don't know, you don't really have anything going. Maybe I have no idea. That's just how it works for me. So I'm gonna take this, amplify, and I can do -1 again, and it brings those down. I can select the whole thing and do an amplify too, and this will tell me how far it'll go before I start clipping off the top of these. I don't actually need to go to 24, so I think that that is good. If there are coughs or issues with the microphone, they usually come out big, and actually zooming in you can tell what kind of letter everything is. I'm going to zoom out to normal scale and amplify the whole thing to 23. Welcome to part 16, obake-san. So there is our first audio. We've got one more thing to do, and that is a noise reduction. We want to find a big empty spot where I am not saying anything. This should do. The little tiny things are clicks of the controller. And we go to Effect, Noise Reduction, Get Noise Profile. And what it does is it looks closely at what's here and figures out what your noise is. And we only selected this little area right here. We didn't select anything else, but now we have everything selected, and we'll do the noise reduction and apply the profile we just made. Alright, this is taking a while. Oh, it's probably taking a while because it's recording while it's doing this stuff. So it's recording video and audio while it's trying to do video and audio. So yeah. Now even here, the peak is gone. Or the noise is gone, so that does it for saved audio number 1. I'm just gonna do a check on the previous one, just to make sure that these are about the same volume. Whoops. Hit home, and I can play both of them at the same time or mute one or the other. Welcome to part 6. This is part 14's Ghosts, Link's Decision 2, Chronos, the tier. Those are about even. How about here? If I could get much sense. But in the... you can and make our way back. Let's amplify it a little bit more. So that's going to be our fixed version of number 3. Commentary, part 3. None of this stuff really matters. I just do it so it's easy to keep track of. This is where it automatically records all the videos too. Okay, so now we have part 2, and this is just the game. We don't have to worry too much about the volume. We can check it against another version, but 17 is what I've been using, I think. This part's particularly loud. So I'm gonna take an extra measure here, and I am going to try to decrease this a little bit. It's so much louder than the other thing, and it's starting to drown out that. This is not something that happens too often. So I'm gonna give it a 1.5. Whoops. I just hit Control Z, -1.5. That's what I meant to put first instead of the period. So now it's a little more even, and since we ended it at a dead spot, it's not going to be a sudden jump in sound level. And of course started at a dead stop too. And so you might notice that we're skipping. Yeah, that would have been pretty loud without it. So there we go, we've got our 2. So I'm gonna actually, hold on. I want to save as 3. Save as 1. Just because. I want to have a separate one for the modifications I made just to my own voice. But I can hit undo to bring that back. So now _1 is saved with both of them. But I gotta go to export to make the file. It's gonna be 1 fixed. I just type that so it's easy to remember. Whatever, now it's exporting the combined audio track. And you can use this to adjust however many different tracks you want. You can add more. There's plenty you can do. Okay. And last, we need to export the game only. And if you're wondering if any of this is necessary, the way that I have it set up, yes. Come on. So exported that. I'm just gonna undo to bring both of those together and save and close. So now we've got our 3 audio tracks. We're gonna come back into here. I'm gonna enable all 3 of these again, but instead of selecting 0, 1, 2, and remember those are cut up sort of, so the beginning of them would be cut off, maybe. We fixed it. It's all lined up here. So audio track 1 is 1 fixed. Audio track 2 is 2 fixed. And audio track 3 is 3 fixed. I'm gonna set this to AAC Lav. That's the codec I actually want to use for the output. And configuring will configure all of them at the same time. Now we've got to do video. So the codec X264 is good, but I want to change the quality of it to 18. Usually 20 to 21 is an okay quality, but this is just how far it compresses it. And I'm going to change this to MP4. It's just the file type that it makes. And we need to crop this. There's an auto crop button here, but if you do it at the beginning, it cuts off a lot. If you do it in a dungeon, that's usually good. 516 by 452, that's the right amount. Sometimes you get almost that, except the top is 30 because instead of 2 lines, it's 1. Like here. So the auto crop comes down to 30. But it's really 14, and that gets us to the right amount. That's really the only filter we need here. So save, and I'm going to save it as part 16. This probably doesn't matter because it's doesn't have a lot of other things to do at the same time. And that is our file. Part 16.
Welcome to part 16.
We could switch
Obake-san's Ghost.
audio track. This is just the game. Or switch to...
We've got the second class dungeon to go
commentary.
to, so we're gonna video game songs with, you know,
nothing here.
rock instruments. And at least...
And there we go. The one additional annoying part, I'm just gonna open a new one, I don't need to mess around with effects, is YouTube requires me to give personal identification to have videos longer than 15 minutes. And this is considerably longer, so I'm gonna split this up. Could be anywhere between 12.12 and 15.0. I'm just gonna... This seems like a fine spot.
Well, I get the
mirror shield. Alright. That puzzle was far too easy. It doesn't really matter too much where you do it, I'm just playing around seeing if I could find an easy spot. Where I don't actually interrupt myself. So I've got it set up. I want to change this to MP4, X264, bring this back down to 18. The lower the number, the better the quality. The higher the number, the longer it takes to encode, and the more prone to errors it is. I'm gonna set it back to AAC Lav and 192, and we've got to do it to all 3 audio tracks. And this is not particularly because of this part. Make sure you hit the end button to get all the way to the last frame. And we are going to save this A. once this is done, we make sure that we are at the final thing by hitting the right button or the end button, and it's not going anywhere else. We'll hit undo, it'll bring that back, reset markers, and then hit B and you'll select everything to the left of this. But we want to move one frame over to do that. And now delete, and we can save and B. We want... I didn't want to put that thing there. We want to make sure that we get the two parts. It's just annoying what YouTube does, but that way once we put them back together again, and we can put them in the same playlist.
Welcome to part 16. Obake-san's Ghosts, Link's Decision.
So we get to the very end here.
More likes, they're not gonna get me any help.
10 seconds, 9, 8, come on, hurry up. I just can't reliably click closer.
Oh, we got something out of them.
And if you put them together in an actual
Trying to keep my
they'll
health
come
up,
out.
and there we go.
And that's it. Done.